Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom, brother Yawasop.
Brother Aaron.
Soldier Yahweh back with another lesson. I know it's been a while. You guys been patiently waiting, but we back here to talk about the recent times and events that's going on. As you can know, that America, the prophecy is fast forwarding. The prophets are waking up the lost sheep out in the highways and byways. Uh, if you pay attention to world events, you see what's going on in Iran. You see what's going on in Russia and China. You see what's going on here in the U.S. with this coronavirus vaccination. And you know who the Bible calls Esau. You know this man is at his full wrath. He's about to bring full wrath upon the nations. Not only the nation of Israel, but this man about to bring full wrath upon the world. So we're here to dive into some world events, and we're gonna show you out the Bible where Esau in these last days. We definitely gonna know who Esau is in these last days because he's showing his true color. If you didn't know, Esau, Edom, the Edomites, their biblical nationality is Edomites, but they're the so-called white man, the Americans, the French, right? The Spaniards, the Russians, right? The Grecians. These are Edomites, fake Jews that's in our land right now. The Amalekites, these are the fake Jews, and this is Esau, Edom, and this is his nation because we know according to Job 9:24, the earth was given to the hands of the wicked. Now, if you look around, who's passing all these laws and doctrines, in these last days, who's military in every country, who's passing this COVID-19 vaccination that make them be mandatory for you to put this poison in your arm, your children's arms, your elder parents' arms. It's gonna be mandatory. So in these last days, it's important, that you turn back to your power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, so you can be saved in these last days from our enemies. We're gonna start with Second Esdras. Give me Second Esdras. And we're gonna start with the 6th verse. Second Esdras 6, and we're gonna start with the 6th verse, and just give you a little synopsis of Second Esdras, the 6th chapter. This is Yahushua talking. He's saying before the world was created, before the beginning, before the thunder and the lightning, the foundations, it was Yahushua, right? So we're going to start with 6 and 2nd Esdras 6 and verse 6. Start with 6.
We're coming from the book of Esdras, 2nd Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other.
So all these things going to be ended by the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Read.
Verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that follows?
So, Israel always looking for a sign. You look outside, you see the clouds getting dark, you know it's about to rain, right? If you see, the sun setting outside, you know it's about to be dawn, it's about to be dark soon. So Israel always looking for a sign, right? Go with 8.
Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So Jacob's hand held first of Esau, and that's real important because it's going to show you, and we can drop that and go to Genesis 25, and we're going to start with 21. Because that's important because first Jacob's hand took hold of Esau's heel, right? So we can go to Genesis 25. You can start with 21. Start with 21.
We got the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
Read.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Read.
22. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So Rebekah said, if this is a blessing from the Most High, why am I in so much pain? So when she said she went in the tree of the Lord, it means she went and asked one of the prophets or the seers at the time. Read.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations
two nations, right? That's a key factor. Two nations, read.
Are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Two manner of people shall be separated. So they go with that whole kumbaya, Dr. Martin Luther King spirit. We all gonna go along and get along spirit. The Lord said two manner of people shall be separated. Read.
From thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
So we already know who's the most strongest people on this planet. But the elder shall serve the younger. So whatever child come out first, he's gonna serve. It said the elder gonna serve the younger. So whoever come out first should be serving the younger child. And we're gonna see if that's happening when we go finish reading.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
Read.
Verse 25. And the first came out red.
And the first came out red. Right? Read.
All over like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
And they call his name Esau. So if you look around this planet, who's the so-called red man? That would be the Edomites, right? They're not white. They're not Caucasian, right? They red, different shades of pink, like we always bring out. There's no such thing as a so-called white man or black man or Asian. The Lord made 18 nations. He made Yasharala, which is Israel. Then you got Edom, which is the Edomites, so-called white man, right? Going down with the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Amalekites, so forth and so on. He made 17 nations. But America has changed us into bywords and proverbs. Read.
And they called his name Esau.
Now here's the point we were making this second Esdras, the 6th chapter. Read.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
And his hand took hold of Esau's heel. That was the struggle. If you go back up to 22, that's the struggle that Rebecca was talking about. That's the pain. So that's the struggle from Esau and Jacob from the beginning, the so-called white man and the so-called Jacob, the progenitors of the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's the pain that we've been fighting with our so-called brother, but the Lord said he was going to separate us spiritually. Right? So these are people that came out the same womb and we were separated. Right? Read.
And his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
His name was called Jacob. Drop that. Go back to second Esdras, and we're gonna you can start with 8.
Okay. Chapter 8 or verse?
No, 8? Verse 8. Chapter 6, verse 8.
Okay. The book of Esdras, second Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac.
From Abraham to Isaac.
When Jacob and Esau were born.
We just read that in Genesis. Read.
Of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
We just read that in Genesis, Genesis 26. Read.
For Esau,
Esau, the so-called white man. Read.
Is the end of the world.
Is the what?
Is the end of the world.
No, the beginning.
Is the end of the world.
So we know Esau is the end of the world. Now who we're gonna get that, go to that in a minute. Now, who coming out with this COVID-19 scenario and this so-called, we know the pandemic, right? That's Esau, right? That's a so-called white man. We just seen a documentary today where it was one of the Rothschilds, what's his name, Richard.
Yep.
You know, he patented this thing 5 years ago. So these devils do things way in advance. They do everything by the numbers. They definitely know the scriptures, right, on the left-hand side. So this was being put together 5 years ago to this date, right? Start at 9 again.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
And that's why he's doing this. Esau know his kingdom almost up. Look, these other nations are waiting on the Lord. The Lord is waiting on his children in the 12 tribes, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's the difference. For Esau, it's the end of the world. Esau know his time is up, right? He's pulling out all strings and tactics. It's about to get really bad within the next 12 months, right? It's gonna get really bad for a lot of you men and women that can hear the sound of my voice, who's not hearkening to this truth, hearkening to this word, turning back to your stronghold, which is the law, statute, commandments of the Bible, right? So now it's crunch time. Like the brother Nyquam always say, it's crunch time. You know, it's fourth quarter, 10 seconds on the clock, fourth and goal, the ninth inning, 3 outs. You know, I mean, 2 outs, two strikes. It's time to get. Hey, it's time to focus, really focus, and turn back to your stronghold, which is the Bible.
That's right. Verse 10. The beginning, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
And we got next, right? According to I think Isaiah 14, the 14th chapter, we got next. The Lord is going to set us in our own land, and these heathens are going to cleave to us, right? Read.
Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Esdras asked thou not.
So it said the hand of the man is betwixt the heel and the hand. So that struggle in the womb was Jacob, you know, probably reaching down. Esau's coming out first, like, get your butt back down here. You ain't going nowhere. So the hand of the man that betwixt the heel of the so-called white man, and we just know Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that followeth. So we got next, brothers. So just hold on, you know, continue to be diligent in this word, stay truth. You know, find some like-minded brothers. I know there's many camps popping up across America, whatever city and state you in. You can reach out, just look up Hebrew Israelites on YouTube, and you can see this word is going out at an astronomical rate. There's no one can stop this. If it's ordained by the Lord, no one can stop this. Drop that. Give me Hebrews 10 and 31. Right? Because, you know, we have to know that in these last days, it's real important that you don't lose focus. There's no time to be backbiting. There's no time to be returning back to the vomit, like the scripture says. Now is the time to be diligently seeking the Most High, seeking the Lord with all your mind, heart, and soul. Read that.
We're coming from the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God.
It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, because we were just bringing out earlier, we were dialoguing before we got on live, you know, that the Lord sent these death angels out. Like Brother Aaron was saying, you know, y'all give Satan too much credit. Satan does nothing that the Most High doesn't ordain for him to do. If you want, you can go back and read the book of Job, the first chapter, the 6th verse. When Satan came amongst us men of sons of God, and he got his direction, he said, "Hey, you consider my servant Job." So y'all giving Satan too much credit, the spiritual demon Satan too much credit. That's when you turn back to your own lustful needs and thoughts, because the Lord will never tempt you into sin, right? Drop that. Give me Ezekiel 35 and 2. Because if you didn't know, it's almost a commandment for us to know who Esau is in these last days, right? This is a very dangerous man. If you didn't know who Esau is, he owned all your banks. He owned all the universities and schools across America. He owned all the large corporations. He owned all the business dealerships. He owned all the municipalities, all the government, from your mayors, from your governors, from your police departments, from your armies, from your navies. Esau owned all this, not just in America. This devil is in every country. He got bases in China, Africa, Russia, right? That's why these other nations are getting tired of Esau, who's the so-called white man, right? Read that, King.
It's the book of
Ezekiel 35 and 2.
We're coming from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
Set your face against Mount Seir. That's where they dwelt there in the ancient world, Mount Seir. This is a commandment. The Lord says, set your face against Mount Seir. See, read.
And prophesy against it. Verse 3. And say unto it, thus saith the Lord God, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
Most desolate. Because the Lord is not playing with Esau. Like he said, he may rise. I think that's in Obadiah. He said he's going to rise, but the Lord will tear down. Right? You even see out here when a hurricane or tornado come through, what Esau say? Oh, we're going to rebuild. Right? So it's a commandment for us to set our face against Mount Seir. That's why you have the mighty, mighty men. You know, Soldier Howard. You got Congregation of the Mighty. You got your Howard's camp. You got all these camps here locally where we live in North Carolina. You know, that we go out, we prophesy against this sinful nation. Right? His sins have reached up to the heavens according to Revelations 18. So it's time for you to set your face against Mount Seir. Come out of her. There's nothing you're going to benefit in America. right? You trying to get 5 degrees. You trying to save to get that 10-bedroom home, right? You trying to get 5 new cars in the driveway. Hey, those days are over in America, right? The only way to attain your American dream, you have to be asleep, right? And we fully woke. You have to be asleep to get the American dream. That's why they call American dream, because everybody in America walking around docile and dumb, right? Oblivious, not oblivious to their surroundings, man. They oblivious to their surroundings. They got that go along and get along spirit. They believe everything the white man tell them. ABC, CBS, CNN, Wall Street Journal, all these news outlets owned by Esau, right? Give me Amos 9:3. Amos 9:3. Right? Because we have to come out of her in these last days. It's really important. We're going to emphasize that and we're going to stress that throughout this lesson, because you have to come out of America in these last days. You have to, that means when you come out of her, you have to turn away from those philosophies and doctrine that you've been indoctrinated with here in America, and you have to turn back to your stronghold, which is Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shah, and these laws, statutes, commandments of the Bible. Read that.
We're coming from the book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 3. And though thou hide thyself in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them.
And that's talking about America, right? The Lord is going to destroy America with a sword of destruction, right? You don't want to be caught up in America when the Lord sent his true wrath on this sinful nation, because America will be destroyed. If you can hear the sound of my voice, you can almost guarantee, if it's written in the book, it's going to happen, right? But like I said, the Lord is waiting on us. He's waiting on the Israelites to turn back to his laws, statutes, commandments, and then we out of here. You know, when the 12 tribe, from 12,000 from each tribe and the elect wake up, we don't know how many the elect is. The elect number is probably innumerable, like the scripture says. So when we get that number, right, we out of here. You know, the chariot's going to come. I know a lot of people don't believe in the IFOs, which are identifying flying objects. We know the chariots are the most high. You know, Esau and his sinful kingdom call them UFOs. Got you thinking there's a damn gray man with big eyes flying around in these damn UFOs. No, those are the angels of the most high. Austere black men in these chariots. They're going to come save us. Why do you think our forefathers sang songs like Sweet Low Chariot, come and take me home? We knew about the chariots. We were led out by a chariot when the children of Israel first left Egypt the first time, right? They saw the miracles, and they still slid off and went astray from the Lord, right? Give me Amos 1:11. Amos 1:11.
We're coming from the book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever.
He kept his wrath forever. Give me that in Genesis 27 and 40. But he kept his wrath forever, perpetually. That means since the birth, since the hand betwixt the heel of Esau, right? We've been at it since day one, the so-called black and the so-called white man, right? So-called Edomites and the so-called Israelites, right? Particularly from the tribe of Judah and Gad, right? Here in this sinful nation, America. So this has been going on since day one. People like to say, oh, just, you know, during the times of the Civil War. No, it's been ancient. It's been going back since the ancient world. Well, they knew who the children of Israel were. We were mighty men. We ruled the dark ages for 1,000 years. We ruled Europe for 1,000 years. So after 1,000 years, you think them devils didn't know who we were? It got to be more than just simple hatred. Because our forefathers, we got off those ships throughout the 16, 17, 18, 1900s. We raised their children, right? We cooked your food. We built your land up. We built your white houses with the picket fences. The so-called Israelites did that. And y'all still going to hate us? We actually raised y'all children while y'all devils went out and did ungodly, I don't know what, you know, and we were the one, our foremothers were the one raising your children, right? Read that.
We're coming from the book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
and thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. I want to go up to where is there in he said he was gonna kill, say he was gonna kill Jacob.
Or right after his dad passed.
Right. Keep reading that. 41. It's the next one.
Verse 41. And Esau hated
He
Jacob.
did what?
Esau hated Jacob.
Our brother that came out the same womb as us did what?
And Esau hated Jacob.
Read that.
Because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him.
We got next the kingdom, the prophecy, the glory of the Most High, the covenants, right? That's the blessing. They can have this temporary pleasure. We got next when the kingdom, when Yahweh shall crack them skies and set us back in our land, the new Jerusalem, the new heavens and the earth. We got next. That's when we really gonna prosper. And all these heathen nations gonna be destroyed, or you can be taken in slavery and captivity, just like he had the children of Israel in slavery and captivity. Read.
And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning. Yep, Esau.
That's right.
Yep. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
So Esau had it in his mind. He was contemplating way back then. He said, yeah, just wait till Isaac dead, and I'm going to kill that Negro, right? And the reason why he was upset was because he sold his birthright. That's something that you did. And he got the blessing. I think it said he fooled me twice. Like the scripture say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? You wasn't fool, you was the fool. Children of base men, like the scriptures say. Right? To give your blessing away and then cry after it. Who that sound like, man? Someone to give something away and then, they start crying after it. Like they just call that what an Indian giver. You give something away, now you want it right back.
And I'm Gadite, so just imagine that.
Right, yeah, right.
I never gave nothing that I wanted.
Romans 9 and 13, man. We're gonna bring this thing home because we already know. We already know if we God's children, if we His chosen, and Esau hates us, then our Father must hate him. But we're gonna read it. Read that.
13.
Yeah, you can read 13.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written.
It's written in the old book of Malachi, the first chapter. Let me bring that up. Malachi 1.
Oh, Indian giver.
Let me bring that out. Hold that. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1. The burden of the words of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet, ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and heritage wasted for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So this devil is so proud. Like I said, he was the earth was given to the hands of the wicked, and that's how you can see they building up the desolate places now. But right, they even said it in the Old Testament, and I hated Esau. That's coming right out the Lord's mouth. We're gonna move to the New Testament for y'all New Testament Israelites only. Read that Romans 9.
We're coming from the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 13. As it is written.
As it is written in the book of Malachi. Read.
Jacob have I loved.
The 12 tribes of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
But Esau have I hated.
You damn white, Caucasian, French, German, Polish, Romans, Grecians, right? What did he say about them?
But Esau have I hated.
But Esau, man, there's no way around this thing, man. There's no way around the so-called Edomites, man. The Lord hates you. Just call a spade a spade. Let your wickedness show so we can get up out of here. Let the man of perdition show itself, right? You got all these people. It kills me when they say, well, they good and they try to help the so-called blacks. You got to ask yourself, you always got to ask yourself, why are all these Edomites in a position to help? And why the so-called Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, why are you in a position to always need the help? That's what you got to ask yourself in these last days.
Hey, for all those that are new tuning in, hey, give them a rundown of the 12 tribes of Jacob, which is Jacob's 12 sons.
Well, yeah, we know that, Jacob is progenitor of the Israelites, right? And we're going to get it out about it. Go to Genesis and get that for him so we can get him a little context. Genesis 35 and 10. right? We'll just give you a little context to show you how are you an Israelite. This may be your first time tuning in. We know there's a brother that's well learned and well versed, been in this truth 5, 10, 15 years. But you always got to teach as if you got that first person watching the video for the first time. You always got to teach. I remember a story where about Michael Jordan. He said he always played like that because he always knew that there was somebody watching him for the first time. They heard about his gifts from the Most High, but he said he always played like someone was watching him for the first time. Right? Read that in 35 and 10.
We're coming from the book of Genesis, chapter 35 and verse 10. And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob.
Thy name is Jacob.
Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? But what?
But Israel.
But who?
But Israel.
But who?
But Israel.
Read.
Shall be thy name.
But Israel. So the Israelites make up the 12 tribe of Israel. You got Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Issachar, Naphtali. Those are 12 men. These are real men. And we could bring it out for edification purpose, but you can look it up. These are 12 mighty men, right? The sons of Jacob. The 12 tribes of Israel can be written like Jacob's 12 sons. Because we just know Jacob's name would change to Israel in the 35th chapter of Genesis, right? Drop that and give me, unless you got something. You got a precept.
No, I have a precept. I was just going to bring out one of the charts just to tell them. Okay. So Judah would be the so-called American.
See if they can see it.
I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, they might can't see it.
So for edification purposes, I'll go ahead and read it. You can look this up, the 12 tribes chart, which is, online, Israel 12 tribe chart. But Judah will be the so-called American blacks. Benjamin would be the West Indies islands. The blacks there, the so-called blacks. The Haitians would be the Levites or Levi. Ephraim would be the so-called Puerto Ricans. Manasseh would be the so-called Cubans. Simeon would be the so-called Dominicans. Zebulon would be the so-called Guatemalan to Panama, the Mayan Indians. The tribe of Gad would be the so-called Native American Indians, which would be all the tribes that, so-called dwelled in America. Reuben would be the so-called Seminole Indians.
That's right.
Asher would be the so-called Colombian to Uruguay and the Incas. Issachar would be the so-called Mexican and the Aztec Indians. And Naphtali would be the so-called Argentinian and the Chile.
So if you can see, we still all here together from North America, Central, South, Mexico, Colombia, Puerto Rican, Cuba, the Bahamas, Haitian, so we still all here scattered abroad, like James 1:1 say to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. So we all still here, and the Lord is waiting on you. If you want to go back and, do some research on that, you hear your name of what your forefather was, and then you hear what America calls you, you are an Israelite, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And you must wake up in these last days so we can get up out of here, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 3:1. Because like the Lord said, hey, there's time for being docile and not know what's going on, right? All love spirit. You got to get that out. Our Lord is a man of war, according to Exodus 15:3. You got to get that spirit out of you so when it's crunch time in that day, you're going to realize that, the Lord said there's a time, there's a purpose and season for everything under the sun, paraphrasing, right? So you got to be ready in that day, defend yourself, to be smart about things. Of course, you get that spirit of hate, right? Not your brother, but of these people, these other nations, right? Ecclesiastes 3:1.
The regular Ecclesiastes?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 3:1. So you got to know that what time we're living in. We're not living in a time where, that Martin Luther King spirit, man, where turn the cheek and, and just be docile and try to love everybody. That's the problem with Israel too. Israel want to love everybody, but they hate you. We hate our own brothers and our sisters. But we want to love the so-called Edomites, so-called white man. You feel sorry about the Moab and Ammon, the so-called Chinese man and Japanese man, right? You got people like the Stoudemire. He want to get a certificate to be a fake Jew, when he already
Already a
the real
Jew.
Jew, right? So we got to know what time we living in, man. It's comical
Oh
when
man.
you awoken to the truth and you see this madness going out here in the world, man. This madness going out here in the world. Read that, Ecclesiastes 3:1.
We got the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. To everything there is a season,
Mm-hmm.
and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. A time to be born,
Mm-hmm.
and a time to die.
And a time to die. Drop that. Go down to 8.
Verse 8. Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 8. A time to
A
love.
time to love. Now we know the definition of love is following the commandments. So now is a time to start following these laws, statutes, and commandments. But a physical love is when you love your brother, right? You would love your brother by following these laws, statutes, commandments, right? Because if you love your brother, you're not going to try to sleep with your brother's wife, right? You're not going to rob from your brother, right? You're not going to try to get over on your brother, right? You're going to be honest with your brother. That's love according to the Bible. Read.
Verse 8. And a time to
A
hate.
time to hate. You hear that? It's a time to hate. The Most High said there is a time to hate. So yes, how you think you get that emotion, right? You ever say, I hate that? I just hate that happened, or I hate him and I hate her. Where do you think you get that emotion from? You get it from your Heavenly Father, you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
And a time to war. A
Mm-hmm.
time, Shalaki, a time of
A
war.
time of war. You know we about to be in war mode. They about to issue this vaccination mandatory when they put the troops on the streets coming at, knocking at your door, right? When they're trying to take you to those FEMA camps, right? Because you won't want to take this poison. They want to shoot in your arm. They want to shoot in your children's arms. Hey, it's a time of war coming up, you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You better get your mind right, Rick.
And a time of peace.
And a time of peace. We know the time of peace is coming when Hamashiach Hawashah comes. We're gonna be in our own land. That's gonna be a time of peace, right? But even before then, we still gonna get tried in the second wilderness. Because you may think just because you got your fringes on, right? You got your menorahs. I mean, you got your mitris and your head scarves. You men, you women, you got your fringes on your dresses, right? You keeping your house in order. There's coming another time you're gonna be tried, and a lot of you men ain't gonna make it. A lot of you men that thinking you strong in this word, you rooted like a strong tree, you ain't gonna make it. Just like in the wilderness, the only people who made it into the promised land were Joshua and another servant, if I'm not mistaken. That whole generation was wiped out because they was wicked. You say, nah, man, I've been in the truth for so long. There's no way. But the Lord can give you over to that reprobate mind, and you can go the hell off in the wilderness, the second wilderness, and the Lord's gonna put you to death, right? Drop that. Give me Exodus 17:6. Because when we get over there, we got to get some people out of our land. We got to get these fake Jews who that biblical nationality, the Amalekites, right? Because you don't know World War I and World War II was established to set those people. After World War I, you had the French and you had the British roll into Jerusalem and clear everybody out of Jerusalem, right? That was World War I to set the land up. And then World War II, they had to create a condition so bad for these fake Jews, these Khazar, these Eskanai, these fake Jews, that they had to create a condition so bad that they was giving their own land. When the only thing Hitler was saying, hey, you want to go against your own nation? Because Hitler didn't go to Jerusalem to get those fake Jews. He went to Polish, Ukraine, right? He didn't go to Jerusalem. So Hitler knew like, there's some, y'all up to something, right? So he already knew. So they had to create a condition so bad. And the only thing Hitler was doing was trying to defend his nationality. I mean, his nationality of his country and build up Germany, right? He ain't want nothing to do with these fake Jews. But that's when America came into play at. Because today, Israel and America are number one allies. America give Israel over $500 billion, annually, right? They even sponsor trips for the fake Jews here to go back and live over there. Because those fake Jews are leaving that land at an astronomical rate because you got to be melanated to live in that region. That's hot over there, right? They getting skin cancer and melanoma by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Them people are leaving. They're from the clefts of the rocks. How you gonna be from the cleft of the rocks where you like cool climate to go to the most hottest region on the planet, which is the Middle East, right? So he had to create a condition so bad for these fake Jews that they had given their land in 1948. America gave them that land in 1948. Read that. Exodus 17-16.
Coming from the book of Exodus, chapter 17 and verse 16.
Yeah, 17-16.
For he said, because the Lord have sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek.
With who?
With Amalek.
What's the fake Jew biblical nationality?
With Amalek.
Read.
From generation to generation.
Generation to generation means it's never going to end. That's why they can always be at war over there in that region, because those are not the real Jews the Bible speaks of. We know what the real Jews. You can pull up Jeremiah. I'll pull it up. Jeremiah 17:4. I'm going to show you how the real Jews look. Right? Because the real Jews, according to the Bible, we in mourning.
Hey, I got a precept though for what you were talking about when you were talking about the clefts of the rock.
Read that.
So the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 6. To dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
And in the rock. These are cave dwellers. Caucasians simply mean cave dwellers. They used to live in a cage. They got their animals, their food, their feces. They just do everything in this little circle right there in the cage. Right? They howled at the moon, wore their clothes until they didn't bathe. They wore their clothes till were holes in them. These were base men, right? And now they lording over us, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the greatest people walking this planet, right? And we know that's twofold because we went off, from our forefathers not listening to these laws, statutes, and commandments. So that's always twofold. When we getting on these other nations, ultimately we know the Lord uses these other nations, right, to punish us. But the twofold the second part of that equation is our forefathers went off, and we continue to go off as well before coming into the truth. If you know what sin is, it's just a transgression of the law, right? You think back when you was in this world, maybe your college days, and just think back when you was in this world smoking weed, whoring out the women, going out to these nightclubs and bars on the Sabbath day, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, right? Doing all abominable things, right? Sin on top of sin on top of sin. Whether you buying, whether you cooking, whether you having sex, right? Whether you smoking all night, cigarettes, Black and Miles, and marijuana all night. We was going off in the world at one time, right? We thought it was cool because, hey, I'm not harming nobody, right? I go to work, make my money, right? We didn't understand what sin was. That's that Christianity doctrine, that Willie Lynch letter doctrine, that had our people in derision. So now we waking up to our true nationality.
And look, and I have one more verse.
Okay, come on, bring it out.
This let us also know how much the Most High was upset at us.
Come on, bring it out.
The same chapter of Job, chapter 30, and then we're going to go down to verse 8. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth.
They was viler than the earth. Like I was saying, living in the cliffs of them rocks, man. They didn't bathe, right? They had all the animals around their food. They defecated right in the middle of their little cave hut, right? And just walked around it. Some walked right through it, man. They walking on all fours. Right? These were base men. And you got to think how these base men ruling over us. They double curse. The son hates them, and the Heavenly Father's son hates them. Like they put sunscreen on. Like the sun give us vitamin D. That's why they got all these chemtrails and trying to block the sun, and all these tactics trying to block the sun, because the sun kills these people. Right? Because the elements actually hate these people, man. Because the Lord hates them, right? Give me that Obadiah 1:8. Obadiah 1:8, while I bring this out about the real Jews. I'm gonna bring this out, Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourning. That means the real Jews, we're in mourning. Right? You look around the nation of so-called blacks, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You so-called Haitians and you so-called West Indies, right? U.S. Bahamas, the people from the Bahamas, right? We're in mourning. You look at Haiti, what's going on in Haiti right now, man. I was looking at a documentary. They had about 10,000 Haitians in this one prison, right? And the prison was only meant to hold about 1,200 people. And there was 10,000 of our Haitian brothers crammed up, spreading all types of disease, can't even bathe, getting little nutrition from food they was feeding them. The food they was getting was subsidized. It was spoiling before it even got to the prison camps, man. Right? It said Judah mourning and the gates thereof language, mean we don't have no protection. right? We don't have no place we can call home, right? We don't have that security blanket. We can't call up our military. We can't print our own money, our banking system, right? Because it said in the gates there are language. They are black, right?
Mm.
They are black. Now in the Bible you see color a lot, but it's only describing something. It's not saying that your nation is black. It's describing me, like you would see my wristband or my head scarf. You would say, well, that's black, right? Because you can clearly see that the clear distinction between my bands and my skin, right? But it's a color thing. They are black because that's what the closest thing to black you're gonna see are a lot of shades of brown people, right? So when you're describing something that's different in the ancient world, remember, in the ancient world, the sun is hot, so we would be three shades darker than what we are now. In America, you get many seasons. You get a spring, summer, fall, and winter. So during that fall and winter season, a lot of dark men like ourselves, we tend to get a little lighter. Right now, it's January the 4th, so we get a little more pigmentation coming because the sun is not beaming as much. So we tend to lighten up during the winter months. But during the summer months, we get a little darker. You see, if you've ever been outside with a shirt on and you take your shirt off, you can see where the addition of the shirt, it may be lighter and then your arms will be darker, right? That's how it was in the ancient world. The ancient world was hot. We're talking about hot. So we'll probably be 2 or 3 shades darker in the ancient world because it said they are black unto the ground because we normally wore long garments, right? And then you can see our face, and we wore sandals in the ancient world. So you can see our feet. That's to the ground. You can see your face and your feet. We may have on garments covering our skin things up because we're so hot, but you had to have your face open, and we only wore sandals. That's why I said they are black into the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is going up. Like we hovering out for our homeland, right? It's going up, right? So the real Jews are black. You got anything that you got to Obadiah?
Yep.
Read that.
We're coming from the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 8. Shall I not in that day say, the Lord even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Verse 9. And thy mighty men, O Taman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
They're going to be cut off by slaughter. So all you Edomites, you can hear the sound of my voice, you so-called red devils the Bible speaks of.
That's
you're
right.
Gonna be cut off by slaughter. I didn't say that. We coming out the Bible with this, right? One thing about these churches, whether the Presbyterian, the Methodists, the Catholics, the AME churches, the Seventh-day Adventists, the Jehovah Witness churches, they don't bring out the true words of the Bible. They sugarcoat it. Because that's why a lot of they pastors go to theologian schools and they only can learn what is allowed for them to learn via your government, right? Because they call 501c3s.
Hey, don't forget about the Baptists.
And the Baptists, we've been docile. You got that feeling. You go to a Baptist church, so-called African American or black church, and they may read 2 scriptures, and the other hour and a half is hooping and hollering, praise and song. Give you that good, that feel good. But even a lie make you temporarily feel good. You let your boss, you go to work on Monday and your boss say, well, guess what? You've been working so hard all this year, man. I got $1,000 bonus for you on Friday, right? You're going to feel good all week, right? You're going to feel good. But as soon as Friday come, you come into work, you don't got up early, you brush your teeth 2 times, put on the nice cologne, you smelling all good, you get to work, the boss come up to you and say, well, that bonus I said I was going to promise to you, we can't do it this week. Maybe next quarter, maybe next year. So that a lie make you feel good,
Hey, I got 2 precepts for you.
Read that.
The book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 48. Howbeit, the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet.
So the Lord is not in these church houses, man. The Lord, we are the church. When 2 or 3 more come together in my name, there I am. Paraphrasing. Matthew's, I think that's Matthew's the 18th chapter. So there I am. So that's the church, right? We are the church, right? It's not a physical building because the Lord don't dwell in those churches. What the Lord is saying doing is he hates Esau, what we brought out, but he in these mega churches. We have a church here in Raleigh off of Nazareth, the main street, Western Boulevard in Nazareth. There's a mega diocese they just built for the Catholics, man. And every time I ride by, like that place is desolate, man. Ain't nobody in there, man. These people are dead in that church, man.
Hey, but I
Right?
got another precept.
Read that.
The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 24. God that made the world and all things therein,
All things therein,
seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands.
dwelling not in temples made with hands. You see that? Because the Lord ain't dealing with these churches, right? He only dealing with law, statute, commandments. He didn't give the children of Israel religion. He gave us law, statute, and commandments, which is a lifestyle. You know, the book is our lifestyle. A lot of people like to say it's our basic instructions before leaving earth, but we like to say it's our biblical intervention before losing everything. Because I always bring out, if you don't turn back to your stronghold, you're going to lose everything in these last days, right? Finish. You still got some more on that? Give me the verse. Give me verse 10, 1 and 10.
The book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. For thy violence.
For thy violence, right? We just read in Genesis, he said he's going to kill his brother, right? Soon as Esau is going to kill Jacob, as soon as Isaac has passed. Read.
Against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
That is a mean prophecy. So now we know that prophecy hasn't came to pass yet, because if you probably go out right now to the store, you're going to see a so-called white person. If you go to your job tomorrow, you're going to see the white man, right? He's still there, the son of perdition. So this prophecy hasn't came to pass yet, because they are the only nation of people that are going to be totally cut off this planet, you know, in the end. After 1,000 years, when Yahweh come and save the children, they're gonna be cut off forever. There'll be no more. We're gonna be in an ancient world. Like, what were them people that, man? They used to own everything, and what's that country? They used to own everything, and they owned it all. The professional sports and Hollywood and banks. Man, I can't. Man. Anyway, who are those people? That's you so-called white people, man. You're gonna be cut off forever. And these are not my words. He like to say what the nation of Israel, y'all men are racist. Y'all being racist. Well, racist, if you look at the word pianist, right? The pianist mean you pertaining to what?
The piano.
A piano. An artist pertains to what?
To art.
To art. You ain't get no damn. You go to a concert, it say world-renowned pianist, and you go inside, he playing the drums all day. You're gonna want your money back. You gonna say, I came to see the pianist. So the word racist meaning am for. Like, we are for race, people. IST is am for. So we are for our people.
That's right.
And you should be too. We know y'all are racist, but we trying to get you to understand the dialogue of words, how America has used and twist words. We know the word racist means just for your people. I am for my brother. My brother's for me. We are for the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So yes, we are racist in that sense. But we also use wisdom. The Lord give us wisdom. We're not going to be out trying to harass these other nations, because America has laws, harassment laws, and assault charges laws. And the Lord give us wisdom. He said the revenge is his, right? Just keep steady and stay focused on my laws, statutes, commandments, my son. And when I get back, vengeance will be mine. So we already know the Lord is going to do his part. We just got to do our part. So you can't worry about all this going on out there with these race wars, with these Proud Boys, with this purge movement coming up, where they say it's going to be massive killings out here in these streets. Look, we're not worried about that. We protected by the Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
That power, can no one obtain that power. When the Spirit is on you, there's nothing no man can do. Right? Give me that Isaiah 45 and 7. Isaiah 45 and 7. Because the Lord is going to bring all of this in these last days. Right? Nothing is ordained on this planet that the Lord doesn't allow happens. He got his righteous angels and he got his death angels, his angels on the left-hand side. So everything that's about to happen in America is going to be ordained by America, where there's massive killings from this coronavirus, where there's massive killings from the FEMA camps about to open up, when people start rebelling and there's civil unrest in these streets. That's all going to be ordained by the Most High. And you better take heed to that. Read that.
We're coming from the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace.
Do what?
I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Who does that?
I, the Lord, do all these things.
No, Satan.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
No, the white man.
I, the Lord, do all these things.
I, the Lord, do all these things. So this is ordained by the Most High God, right? Every death, Every person that got saved when you was in a tight jam, whether you made it or whether you perished, that was ordained by the Most High God because He's a man of war, right? And He run this planet. You may think that you have free will, like these churches like to tell you. There's no such thing as free will. You better do the Lord's will, or He will put you to death, right? Give me that in Isaiah 66 and 15. Isaiah 66 and 15. Right? Because in these last days, we have to get right. We have to get our spirit right. We have to get our households in order in these last days. You may got to turn back to the law, statutes, commandments. We got to make sure that we're doing everything thus said the Lord. So when He come in that day, He can say, well done. I mean, good job, my well faithful servant. Paraphrasing. Read.
We're coming from the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire.
With what?
With fire.
What's them nukes?
With fire.
What's them missiles?
With fire.
What's them firearms?
With fire.
Read.
And with His chariots, like a whirlwind, to render His anger with fury, and His rebuke with flames of fire.
With flames of fire. So you know the Lord said He wouldn't destroy this sinful nation with water again, like He did in the book of Noah. I mean, He did in Noah's era, our forefather Noah. He said He's going to destroy by fire, right? And I think the book of I think that's
Malachi.
Is it Malachi 4:1?
Yep.
Right.
Want to hear that one?
Yeah, bring that out. We're gonna give you a visual. We're gonna give you a visual illustration of what the Lord talking about in Isaiah 66:15. He said He coming with fire. Right. Read that.
We're coming from the book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and
read. Go ahead.
And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble.
Shall be stubble. So if you don't know what He's talking about, like we always say, we get a visual illustration. Go in your kitchen right now, turn your oven on to 500 degrees, wait about 20 minutes, and go and stick your damn head in the oven. Right? That's how it's going to be in that last day. Especially you got one of those newer stoves. You know how hot it gets. You can't even touch the rack when you get something out and burn your hand. So you go stick your head in that stove. And that's the Lord said the day is coming where the earth shall burn like an oven. Now, I want to be on His good side on that day. I don't want to feel that. That means your skin going to be melting off your, your bones going to be, your skin gonna be melting off your bones, man, like in those movies you see sometimes. And it should be stubble. Now, stubble is you ever took, if you got a campfire or something outside or a pit fire, just go up and pick some of the ashes up and crumble them. That's stubble, right? When you crumble those ashes, nothing's gonna be left, right? You got a precept?
No, I was gonna finish that.
Okay, you finish that.
And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts.
And shall burn you up. Because the Lord coming with that fire, just like we read in Isaiah 66. He's coming with that fire. So now at that time to turn back to these laws, statutes, commandments. We about to wrap this thing up.
Let me finish that one more.
Okay.
That it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
No root nor branch. You ain't having no limbs. Everything is gone. You know, no legs, no arms, no head, no nothing, man. No trees. Your car's gone. Your house. That house that you paid $700,000 for, that car you've been chasing, your bank account, your safe, it's gonna melt all that. Everything's gonna be stubble. Give me that Isaiah 14:1. Isaiah 14:1. And then I'm gonna bring that
yeah, definitely want to be on the Most High's good side on that day.
That's right, King. That's right. Read that.
We're coming from the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob,
right,
and will yet will yet choose Israel.
12 tribes, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read.
And set them in their own land.
No, America's going to give it to them.
And set them in their own land.
So in 1948, the Lord said He's going to set the real children of Israel in their homeland. So we coming for y'all fake Jews, man. You're going to get up out of our land. Read.
And the stranger shall be joined with them.
The strangers, the other 17 nations. Read.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They're going to cleave to us. Baby, baby, please. Read.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them.
No, we're going to ask them.
Shall take them.
We're going to beg them.
Shall take them.
Read.
And bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants.
So when you possess something, that means you own it. right? You go to the mall, you buy them new pair of Jordans, you own that, right? You go get your little game system, your Xbox or your PlayStation, right? When you buy that, you set it on your console, your little desktop. You own that. You possess that. We're gonna possess these other nations, just like y'all had the children of Israel in y'all possession for all these years, right? We're gonna possess y'all. Jump down to 21. Read that, 14 and 21.
We're coming from the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse
It's
21.
mainly talking about you, Esau. You know, we know the topic is Esau, so we get on Esau. So this mainly pertaining to you, because we know about the Babylonian captivity, then the Assyrian captivity, then Babylon captivity, then the Persian captivity, then the Grecians captivity, then Romans captivity. Now Greece, Rome, and America, y'all all same birds. You know, y'all got that eagle as y'all symbol. So this mainly talking about you, Esau. Read.
We're coming from the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 21. Prepare slaughter.
Prepare what?
Prepare slaughter.
No hugs.
Prepare slaughter.
Kisses.
Prepare slaughter.
Good times.
Prepare slaughter.
Slaughter means massive killings. When you slaughter something, that's massive killings. Read.
For his children,
Mm-hmm.
for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land,
Read.
nor fill the face of the world with cities.
So it said prepare slaughter for the iniquity of their fathers. That meaning, let's just say if I went and robbed a man, right, and I took his wallet and his credit card, right. So, and then I take that credit card and I go buy my son a PlayStation and an Xbox and 5 games each. You know, run it up. I swipe it, right? Even though I stole your wallet, who benefited from it? My child. Mm-hmm. So you so-called devil, you raped, robbed, and murdered the ancestor, and now your ancestors raped, robbed, and murdered my ancestors, and now y'all are benefiting from it, right? That's why he said, prepare slaughter for the iniquities of your father. Because a lot of y'all may say, well, it wasn't me. I didn't own no slaves. Our people didn't own no slaves. It wasn't me, spirit. But the Lord said, prepare slaughter for the iniquities of your fathers, meaning what your father done. Right? Because y'all benefiting off the rape, rob, and murder of America, man. Y'all living in the nice homes. Y'all got everything every object you can name in America. Johnson & Johnson's, Deer Park, Aquafina, Sears, Lowe's. All these are people last names that y'all have benefited from all hundreds and hundreds of years. Right? We don't own nothing here in America. So-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. You may be a renter, but we don't own nothing. But we own the physical land, the physical buildings, the physical currencies, the banks that can lend the money. We don't own any of these things. We renters and we borrowers, right? That's all we are in the land of our captivity. But that's soon gonna change, right? That soon's gonna change. Give a couple more precepts and we're gonna wrap this thing up. Give me Jeremiah 16 and 19. And I'm gonna read Luke before he bring that out. I'm gonna read Luke. Before he bring that out, I'm going to read the book of Luke, chapter 21. I'm going to read Luke 21 and 36. Luke 21 and 36, while he bringing that out. It said, watch ye therefore. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 36. It said, watch ye therefore and pray always. So Israel, you always have to be praying. If you were praying 3 times a day, bump that up to 5 times. If you were reading 2 chapters a day, bump that up to 5 chapters a day. Because this thing is getting serious out here. We almost at the end of this ship. You all end of this ride, Salaki. We almost at the end of this thing. So you don't want to start wavering now. This is when you should start picking up full speed. You ever been in a race, right? You see somebody creeping up, you're gonna give that. You're just not gonna stop, right? You've been training all season. Right? And you get to that last 10 yards and you see somebody creeping up on you, you're going to give it all you got, right? To win that race. So this is a race. We must continue this race and endure to the end. It said, watch ye therefore always, Salaki, watch ye therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. It said, these things that shall come to pass. Now we know some things about to come to pass in Esau's kingdom in his last days. Because we just read in 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning thereafter. So we know some things must transpire. We know martial law coming. Right? We know civil unrest is coming to this wicked place. So we telling y'all you must get your soul right in these last days, and ultimately doing it by praying, fasting, stand diligent in the word, following the laws, statutes, commandments. And it said, and to stand before the Son of Man. In that day, we could, how I don't know about what image you got, but I got an image. The whole ancient world was tall men. You're gonna be looking up at Yahushua, who the word is gonna recall Jesus. Right? He's gonna be about 7'10". Right? You're gonna be looking up, like in his presence. Imagine being in the presence of Yahushua, King David, King Solomon, Luke, Paul, Zechariah, Nehemiah, Amos, right? Imagine being in the company of those men. They're gonna be a proud, they're gonna be a glorious thing in that day to see your forefathers, all so-called still black men, right? In the ancient attire, right? Standing with the Most High. Oh man, getting their authority from the Most High, but ultimately ruling with our Lord Yahushua, man. That's gonna be a powerful thing in that day, right? Read that.
We're coming from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16. What did you say, verse?
16 and 19. 16
In verse
and 19.
19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge, in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies.
What the white man gonna say?
Surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Chinese man's gonna say?
Surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Japanese man gonna say?
Surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Ishmaelites?
Surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Those fake Jews?
Surely our fathers have inherited lies.
Surely your father had inherited lies, give you these stories about this white Jesus going to save everybody, telling you that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are nothing, right? You trying to take our nationality away, right? You try to put Israel no more in remembrance according to Psalms 83, right? You trying to discontinue us from our heritage according to Jeremiah 17 and 4, right? These are the things you nations have done, and you're going to say, surely our father had inherited lies. They've been lying to us all along. When you see them skies crack with the black Messiah coming down, and I know it might be far-fetched you listen to this video, you so-called scoffers, you unbelievers, some of you jakes, maybe unbelievers, but I'm telling you, in that day, the mighty men are waking up, and we can almost assure that these things are going to happen.
All right, now I got a little bit more than that.
Right, read that.
Vanity and things wherein there is no profit.
Things are in no profit. Vanity, right? Vanity. No profit in the things that we were told us, because riches profit nothing in the day of the Lord's wrath. So all your riches, your house, we just read that the earth's going to burn like an oven, right? That means everything going to be on fire. Your riches is not going to be able to save you. Your entertainment, your best actor, your best professional basketball player, your favorite politician, nothing is going to be able to save in these last days except turning back to your stronghold, which is Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Malachi Shah. You're our Father, our Heavenly Father, and our big brother and Savior Yahushua, right? So with that, Israel, we got on Esau a little bit. We're letting you know in these last days, you must wake up, turn back to the law, statutes, commandments, because in that day,
I do have one more. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead, bring it out, King. Bring it out.
I was trying to fight it. I was trying to fight it, but unfortunately,
man, whatever you got to bring it out, man, because
unfortunately, the Most High will not allow me to just sit by and not let this one go. We're coming from the book of St. John, chapter 8 and verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil.
What's Esau?
Ye are of your father, the devil.
A.K.A. the white man.
Ye are of your father, the devil.
A.K.A. the red man.
Ye are of your father, the devil.
Read.
And the lust of your father ye will do.
Read.
He was a murderer from the beginning.
He was a what?
He was a murderer from the beginning.
Andrew Jackson.
He was a murderer from the beginning.
George Washington.
He was a murderer from the beginning.
Read.
And abode not in the truth.
Donald Trump.
And abode not in the truth.
What was it? Joe Biden.
And abode not in the truth.
Read.
Because there is no truth in him.
There's no what?
And there is no truth in him.
Hey, the white man won't lie to you.
And there is no truth in him.
The churches won't lie to you.
And there is no truth in him.
Read.
When he speaketh a lie.
He did what?
When he speaketh a
How
lie,
you gonna do that to us?
when he speaketh a lie,
Read.
he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar.
He's a what?
And he is a liar.
What is Esau?
For he is a liar.
What is Esau?
For he is a liar.
Read.
And the father of it.
Hey, Esau, you are the father of the lies, Esau. From all your television programs, from all your predictive programming, from all your movies, from all your music, Esau. We getting it straight out the Bible, man. That's the New Testament as well. That's John. Right? John said you are the liar and the father of it. You are a murderer from the beginning. Right?
If you look at it, it's in red.
It's in red. And that's Yahushua speaking, man. That's our big brother speaking, man. So, with that, we're going to tell Israel, you got to get it together in these last days. Let's follow these laws, statutes, commandments to the best of your ability. Strive to be perfect. Get yourself around like-minded men and individual in this truth so you won't waver and you won't fall off in these last days. If you have any questions, you can contact our email. We're going to put the email up in the link. There's mighty brothers other than me and Brother Aaron bringing it out mighty for the children of Israel. Just Google Hebrew Israelites. I guarantee you can find someone in your local city and your local state that's bringing this word out on the highways and byways, just like me and the brother here are now. And with that, we're going to say, Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach. All praises. Stay strong, Israel. Stay strong. Endure to the end. Keep the law, statute, and commandments. Shalom.
Shalom.